All right, let's see what's happening between the Boko Haram and La République du Cameroon. La République du Cameroon is caught in between Boko Haram insurgency and the ravaging Ambazonian War of Independence. The question is, will La République du Cameroon survive? Well, it will be a jigsaw puzzle for colonial La République du Cameroon to survive fighting both Boko Haram and the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. And as the prolific francophone activist Dieudonné Zomba puts it, he says La Republic should be ready to go alone without the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia soon. From every indication, there is nothing short of this in the near future. It will get worse until the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia is free from over 60 years of manipulation, annihilation, subjugation, marginalization, and slavery. The southern Cameroonian people have been treated unjustly and unfairly for far too long. Freedom has a cost, and the southern Cameroonians have paid with their blood. The Southern Cameroonian people have clearly sacrificed a great deal to struggle for independence, total independence, and nothing less. After all, the Southern Cameroons had already existed, and as such, until the UN manipulated them in 1961 to enter an unholy union with French Cameroons.
Well, the war with Boko Haram is adding a lot of pressure to the precarious situation in La République du Cameroon. It is putting a strain on the economy, the security situation, and the government's relationship with the people. It is clear that the government's response to the Boko Haram insurgency has been ineffective, and this has fueled resentment and anger amongst the people. Boko Haram has turned the situation to a lucrative business through kidnapping for ransom. Boko Haram's use of kidnapping for ransom has become a major source of funding for the group, and it's allowing them to continue their insurgency. The fact that they're able to profit off of the suffering of innocent people is truly despicable. It's not possible because it has become a transnational activity with cross-border stakeholders.
Well, it is clear that Boko Haram's activities are not limited to La Republic of Cameroon and that the group is operating across borders. This makes it much more difficult to combat them. That's a nearly complex situation as the failed country is facing multiple threats to its security and stability, also with the southern Cameroonian freedom fighters. These threats are putting immense pressure on the country, and it's difficult to predict how they will play out in the long run since the violence in La Republique has been going on for a long time and is causing a lot of suffering for the people. The fact that the conflict has lasted so long speaks to the complexity of the situation and the deep seated grievances of the southern Cameroonians that are at the root of the conflict.
Well, sadly, Yaoundé has even corrupted the international body to take only government propaganda, and this is disturbing to hear that the Cameroonian government is influencing the way that the international community views the conflict. That can make it very difficult for the world to really understand what's happening and to support the people who are most affected by the violence. Many conflicts around the world don't get the attention they deserve, and the Southern Cameroon seems to be top on that list. The world's focus has been on other conflicts like the war in Ukraine and the suffering of the people in the southern Cameroon's Amazonia has been overlooked. It is true that the scale of the humanitarian crisis in the southern Cameroon is undeniable. And the numbers are truly shocking. And the fact that the situation has been allowed to go on for so long and that the world has not taken decisive action to stop it is deeply troubling. It seems like there is a failure of both political will and even empathy.
Well, it's truly horrifying the fact that the colonial government is actively trying to suppress the voices of those who are reporting on the conflict and to prevent them from providing much needed humanitarian aid. It's truly appalling. It is hard to understand how a government can justify such actions except for master and slave relationship, as in the case with the Southern Cameroonians enslaved to La Republic of Cameroon by no fault of theirs. Meanwhile, Boko Haram in lucrative business so far. So in just 3 years, From 2015 to 2018, kidnappers in the north of La Republic to Cameroon collected ransom of money around 3 million um, francs CFA, according to Garoua police. This crime has soared despite government measures such as military deployment and the creation of vigilante committees.
Now, reports has it that kidnappers are from different African countries and cross borders to capture and hide their victims, making this a complex transnational crime and difficult to contain. Well, going back to September 2nd, four forest and environment sector program employees were kidnapped on the Mayo Jarendi Madingring Road in the country's Mayo Ray department. The abductors demanded 40 million francs CFAs to release them. On 22nd October, at least 40 people of Chadian and Cameroonian nationality were abducted near Tuboro in North Cameroon. Kidnappings for a ransom have increased in the context of North Cameroon's active agricultural and animal husbandry economy. These activities generate significant revenue adding to border trading, which is particularly lucrative.
Well, many countries on the border with the Central African Republic, Chad, and Nigeria are the departments most targeted by kidnappings for ransom. Persistent weapons possessions and trafficking in these countries, partly driven by socio-political crisis and rebellions, provides kidnappers with a means to carry out their activities. Sources in North Cameroon told the Institute for Security Studies how hostages takers across these countries have a long and porous borders to find targets. They subdue their victims and sow fear among civilians, rendering them more vulnerable. They usually target farmers, cattle breeders, shopkeepers, and humanitarian workers, chosen for their perceived ability to respond to the reason and ransom demands due to their apparent financial capacity. The question is, how well will La Republic de Cameroon handle all of this?